Welcome to the podcast, Hopeful Horizons, the bridge where hope and healing meet. Our mission is to create the environment and resources to get people across the bridge from the post-COVID experience to a future filled with hope. Please welcome our host, Holly Porter, founder of Adventure Bucket Wish Foundation.
Hello and welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time joining us on the Hopeful Horizons podcast. This week we are focused on medical, holistic, and what's special is my guest this time covers both. She is in the holistic side, but she's been in the medical side. So a little about Ruth. Ruth is the CEO of Ruth Kent LLC. She brings years of experience as a best-selling author, professional speaker, and consultant. With a 41-year background in intensive care and trauma nursing and becoming certified as an emotional and body code practitioner. Most recently, the belief code as well. She delivers quantum leap results, and I can attest to that. A featured expert on TV, podcasts, and interviews. Ruth is passionate about empowerment. Ruth has decided to providing service system and tools to serve individuals to overcome professional and personal roadblocks, allowing them to rediscover their true value and emerge to their highest potential. Welcome, Ruth.
Thank you. Yes. How exciting to be here with you and all the people. Yes.
So happy to have you. And we've known each other for a few years. We met through eWomen Network and just, of course, fell in love with each other right from the beginning. And Ruth is an amazing person and she's so full of knowledge. So I am honored that she's joining us today. So listen in, maybe grab a notepad and paper if you want to take some notes, because there'll be some juicy stuff here, I'm sure, that she's going to share. But what is on your heart today, Ruth? What message would you like to give our listeners today?
Well, number one, believe there's a solution. And, I didn't come by that readily, but as an intensive care trauma nurse, you see, I held that belief for every one of my patients. I had major trauma patients, I had transplants, I had, you name it. And when they didn't have the room to believe, guess who did it for them? I was there as a caregiver, but that is an intention that I held with honor. And I believe that's a role that we can play as mother, we can play as partners, but are we doing it for ourselves? And that's where I ran short, because I saw all this and I was doing things for other people. And all of a sudden I realized at 45 years old that I couldn't get off the couch. I was like in chronic pain. I didn't have COVID back then, but I had dysfunction. I had disharmony and I had disease. So, and I can share the rest of the story, but I've noticed in working with all individuals, and yes, I worked with a lot of individuals with COVID. Intuitively, something was brought to me. And intuition, by the way, we throw that word around, but I was told to look up the definition one day. And you may want to write this down because it brings melted butter. It's like, wow, this is really good. And it's immediate understanding without conscious reasoning.
Oh.
It's that deeper knowing. When people say, gosh, you're grounded, that's what they're talking about. It's not the 6 inches. It's not what we know. It's the infinite solution and possibility, potential in all of us that we get to discover and uncover. Well, 45 years old, I was told, and honestly, I was probably at my ideal weight. I was strong. I was, prior to that, I was doing 150-mile bike rides. I was doing marathons. I was working as a nurse. I had my side business. I was a mother. I did all the sewing. I was a woman of the 90s and crashing and didn't even know it. And I refer to this as a dysfunctional treadmill. Why am I talking about this? Because so often we can say, well, it's because of this, that this happened. It's because of this, that happened. But when I'm working with individuals, all of a sudden, all this stuff through the intuitive guided energy work that I do, it can be inherited. It can be from their childhood. And yes, it can be this. So the question I was given in working with individuals with COVID or whatever, what lowered your vibration to align to the virus? Oh my gosh. I often make a joke. What would they think of
Wait, say that again. What lowered your vibration?
to align to the virus? You
Yeah.
know, why are we aligning to poverty thinking? Why are we aligning to this? Why are we aligning to dysfunctional relationships? Why are we aligning to a disease? Okay, what is it that is bringing you to that, and what can be released? Now, I've literally spent probably $250,000 on motivational. Faith has always been number one. I was a cheerleader. I can do this. And I did not know the dysfunctional treadmill I was running on.
Wow.
I believe 99% of the world run from a dysfunctional treadmill called I'm not good enough. And I want you to know that you are all special. You have your place in the world. This is not going to get you down.
Yeah.
Rise above it. And there are solutions. There are ways to help boost your innate healing. Western medicine, I am not against it. I am not, but what we can do together, oh my gosh. I laugh because I have a holistic oncologist referring clients to me. I have a chiropractor referring clients to me. I have a vet who is an animal whisperer and a vet and I think that's kind of funny because if you turn dog around, it's God. But I do a lot with humor, as you can tell. But
Well, you always have so many quotes and things that are so amazing. And she's an avid reader, so she always gives me good books and things like that. But so when we talk about the belief system, really, we were having that conversation prior to coming on here today about really it's our belief. Whatever we believe, as thinking or rich, we can achieve, right? So whatever we think is our minds and our bodies. And I just shared that story about my mom. She's passed away now, but when she had Parkinson's towards the end, we would say to her, as she would walk, they shuffle, and we would say, think big steps. Every time just the word think came out of her mouth, she would go, like just that power of suggestion. And so I just use that as, what do you want to say to our listeners, like around that? Like you're now certified, not just in emotion code, body code, but now belief code.
right.
What changed? Like what would you do differently than you were doing before with that?
Well, people say, what brought you to this point? Well, there's a couple things, but one of them, I was told I was going to be in a wheelchair on oxygen at 45 years old. I had gone to numerous doctors, acupuncturists, chiropractors, and listen, I am not saying they're not good. It wasn't my answer. But instead of looking at dysfunction, disharmony, and disease, I went determined. And I was determined not to sit in present situations, circumstances, and conditions. I was determined to look at, I call it the white dot, not the blackboard, but the white dot. And the white dot, possibilities, potential, and solution. Do not give up. Keep your eye on the dot. And that's like your mama, big step. Well, I got this message when I was 16, driver's training. He said, look at the car about a car length ahead of you and keep yourself between the two. What path do you want to be on? Don't get distracted. Stay determined. And people say, I don't get what I want. And I said, what are you focusing on? They're focusing on the problems, the obligations, the obstacles, not believing in the opportunity that they're going to have this new day. So what I would say is start by doing what's necessary, then what's possible, and soon you find you have done the impossible. But hold it. Do practices. What are you feeding your mind, your body, your spirit every day? Yes, many people talk about morning, meditation and everything. I want you and all your readers to go to bed and say the I am statements. I am well. And say it 3 times. Say it and feel it all over. Now, there's also how can I say, a definition or understanding I want to say here. Don't be positive thinking. Be power positive thinking.
Yes.
Positive thinking is like, okay, I'm going to get it. It's like you're still trying to convince yourself.
Yeah.
You're connecting to that part of you that's already there. That's the part you're nurturing, you're blossoming, you're going to grow. And that's power thinking. You know it's not so right now, but by God, that's what you're going for. Now, I told you at 45, I had herniation, compression, autoimmune disorders, yada, yada, yada. Okay, 72, they can't find any of that on me
Isn't
because
that
it's
amazing?
so.
Wow.
So is it only mine? No. Find out the tools. Emotion code, body code, and belief code is one of those that helps your body, your mind, and your spirit to rise and function in harmony.
Love that. Well, okay, when you talk about a process or a routine, let's just chat about that for a minute, because a lot of people that, and anyone with autoimmune and long COVID has caused autoimmune for so many of us,
Yeah.
got things from that, and that's causing our long COVID issues. And it's just a different life. It is a different mindset that you have to have. So if your mindset wasn't great before, I can understand, the defeat and those not feeling like those things are possible. So yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. Like
No,
what can we do?
something you said there, and I've had somebody very personal to me lived in foster homes. And I may sound like I'm jumping a thought. No, because you're talking about this mindset and the ability to take it in. He said to me, people keep asking me about my childhood and I don't remember. And intuitively, I said to him, did you ever think it was God's gift to you? Do little habits. Don't think of it as like you're broken or you're not enough.
Mhm.
Put a Post-it by your bedside. I don't care. Who doesn't need them? I can think
Well,
I've got my
with long COVID, need them a little more nowadays from the brain fog.
Absolutely. And there's other things. There's nutritionals,
Yeah.
magnets that help. I wear this. Why do I wear this? Because it helps my brain. It's a
Mhm.
magnetic necklace from Nikon. Not all magnets are the same. I don't want you to, and I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm
Sure.
information. My umbrella is simple, effective self-help tools. I want people to be prepared not only to treat the symptoms, not only to try to sustain, but get into the level of prevention. Wouldn't that be exciting?
Yes.
So the habits, look at yourself as willing to do what it is. Teddy Roosevelt, what can I do with where I'm at with what I have? Okay,
Yes.
you got one neuron going, we'll feed it. Don't look at the tin that it may not be fuzz.
Yeah, because it's easy to get into defeat, and when you're like, the gratitude's super important. And I know for me, I'm a really positive person. And so I don't have a lot of down days where I feel defeat, because I just keep saying it's better is better. And I keep trying new things. And recently when I had this last relapse, it was like, I did some different things. I shifted. I didn't really get rid of what I was doing though. I just added more. And I feel like my self-care is all healthcare right now, right? That is my self-care is healthcare. And it's like, whoa, I could sit and be bummed out that I'm spending 3 hours a day just working on doing red lights and hyperbaric and whatever for the health, and be down about that, instead of saying, oh, this is making me well. This is how come next week I'm not going to have another relapse or whatever it is. It's just, it's
Yeah.
that thinking. And it is easy to get defeated when you are suffering, especially from autoimmune. And a lot of people have fibromyalgia with long COVID. And I guess it's just like, let's give them some tools. Let's arm them up. When people do ask me,
Yeah,
right,
and
go ahead.
that's exactly what I was given.
Yeah.
Because I got up out of the doctor's office and I had lost the medial and the lateral nerve pass on my left leg. I, you know, he was going to put me on disability, and I stood up and he says, "Where are you going?" I said, "I have no idea, but I'm going to go find a solution." Now,
Yes.
I'll be honest, when God brought me with the solutions, I thought he had a great sense of humor because it was contrary to the picture of what I knew.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Especially being a nurse.
yeah, and my mom, bless her, her insight was so much. I remember when I introduced some of this, these tools to her in her 80s.
Wow.
And she said to me, "You know what? It can't hurt. It might help." We'll never see a light. We'll never see possibilities if we don't open a door.
Yes.
If we keep looking, again, like I say, at the blackboard, not the potential. But one of the biggest challenges, and this is where I love to support individuals, is, but I used to do that, but I used to be this, but I used to be that. We're coming from a place of stagnation or lack.
Yeah.
And, I know many, many amazing young athletes that feel they can't even get out of bed. Is it the disease, or is it the mindset that, oh my God, I can't do what I, was meant to do? There may be something even greater. But
Right.
at this point in time, they're having a hard time. I believe in prayer. I believe in the, technology, the herbs and things like this. But if we don't get that energy out of the way, it's like a Teflon pan. It's just sliding right by you. It's like the boat, the plane, and the, ship. And you're saying, "I want to be saved." And it's, believe it to see it.
Right.
I am not. I will meet you where you're at, because there is not a formula that is for everybody.
No.
And I didn't do that as a nurse, and I won't do it here. And how you can take something and say everybody should get it and everybody should do that. Well, when it came to flu shots or vaccines, I had on my chart, patients should not receive, may cause death. This was back in the 90s.
Wow.
When I came to North Carolina and they made it mandatory to get the flu shot, guess who was told who had get it? I got the note again from my doctor. The second year I was told, well, that was last year, not this year. And I said, you know what? I'm a little confused. I have not changed. I'm the still human being that was there before. And some of the behavior was individually, because when I told administration the way I was managed or the way I was handled, they apologized.
Wow.
Yeah. They said that never should have happened.
Well, I think a lot of things happened similar with COVID and medical. And I mean, look how many medical people walked out because they just
Well,
they weren't sure, but no one knew. I mean, it was chaos for everybody.
and nothing's the same anywhere. Okay, let's just know that, because in some hospitals, if you didn't get the COVID shot, some of the healthcare providers would not treat you.
Right.
The same with insurance. The same with, whatever. And I'm just going, man, that isn't the way I was taught.
Yeah.
In the next hospital, that's not the way it is.
Right. Yeah. I think administration matters.
Well,
and there's no blanket rule, really.
And the individual.
Yeah.
We forget why we're there. Is it to make it right or wrong? Or is it to come from your heart and be of service?
Yeah.
Right and wrong thinking, good or bad, is only from the ego.
Agree. What would you say to the listeners about advocating for themselves, or if they don't like what they're hearing from a doctor, I mean, just things like that. Because these are all new, nobody really knows about long COVID because it's new. We're their statistics. We're their guinea pigs. What would you say to help someone like that?
Okay. For instance, I have an individual right now that had 3 vessels in his heart, 90 and 95% occlusion. That man was having chest pain, was having rhythm problems, all this. Went on a vacation to Florida, God bless him, and came back in, and he managed to not have a heart attack, managed to not have further damage because it was what else he had done. I work with him. His wife does different forms of natural homeopathic work, and his willingness to look outside. Does he still need Western medicine? Oh, you bet your bipper. Because of this component of having gotten the COVID shot, he now is getting a stent. You see, again, I bring back both. What I would say to these individuals, go within and find that everybody is giving an opinion, but ask to be connected to the one that's going to help you. Yeah. Individuals that will do that, all of a sudden this nurse will come out of the woodwork, or this doctor or this friend, something. You see, you're going for knowing that somebody is going to help you. All your needs are going to be met. I just went through, I knew that I was detoxing and I wanted to not overload my kidneys and my liver and yada, yada. And I said, and I am just like everyone else. I said, Lord, help me to know how to manage this detoxing in a safe, easy way. I get a phone call that morning from a friend of mine who's a lymphatic specialist. And she goes, I was told in prayer today that I'm supposed to contact you and you're supposed to come and see me in my office.
Oh, there you go.
But the call from another friend, and she said, I want to give you our free colonic. Okay, not the normal kind of phone calls people get. I'm just saying it's beyond, it's coloring out of the box.
Right.
And don't have hope. I go back to the word determination. But hold yourself every night you go to bed. I am well. I am connecting exactly to who is to help me. I have an amazing support team, because every night you go to bed and you say this and say it 3 times and feel it, celebrate it. You're giving the frontal lobe that is mucked up with judgment, criticism, fear, all the stuff, to feed it and to be creating that. And you're going to bring it. You're going to bring it in. You're calling it in.
I agree.
Know that you are.
Yeah. One thing that I just started doing the last few weeks, I pulled out my mini tramp, because there's a lot of times that I just don't have enough energy to go for a walk or whatever else I need to do or want to do. Or I want to do, but really don't have the physical ability to do. So I pull it out, and there's a song I'm sure you've heard it. Every little cell in your body is happy. Every little cell. And I'd sing it but that voice got robbed as well. And I jump and I sing 3 full verses. And usually then I'm pretty tired. It only takes about 2 minutes, but I'll sing the whole song. But as I'm doing it, that's what I'm doing. I'm bouncing. So I figure it's bouncing every cell in my body at the time. And I'm saying it. And so I'm thinking it and I'm doing it, right? And I'm creating it. That's the hope in the end. That's what works for you, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so the beginning of the year, there was a couple things, and I realized something so simple, because we make it more complex and then we don't do anything, right?
Yeah.
So in the morning, I would get up and I would do a cheer. Now I have my prayer time and all that, and I get that. But this cheer, man, it just puts me on the right path, puts me in the right mood, puts me, So I'm going to share it. Today is a new day, and I'm in a new way, and I can't wait to discover what's new for me today.
Love it. I love it.
Try it out. And act silly. Go let that inner child, go let that inner part of you be heard and, say it to the rooftops.
Oh,
But
I love that. Oh my gosh. Well, that's a good place to end. The cheer's always a good place to end. And if you can pick up just a couple little nuggets here along the way of what's going to work for you, and not everything's going to work for everybody, and not every podcast we have is going to be for everybody. And I think there's so much good out there. There's so much we can fill our brain with. So let's think of things that are going to help us move forward, right? And be a blessing in our life, not a curse. Because
yeah,
COVID was a curse. For me, it was anyway.
I often describe myself as an umpire, is that I go up and I dust off the home plate, but it's you as an individual that get to hit the home run. You're amazing. Don't let this be who you are. You're a lot more.
Yeah, it shouldn't define you, for sure.
Love to everyone out there.
Oh, thank you. Yes, for sure. I'm amazing people listening that this has definitely moved. And I'm grateful that you could come and join us and give us some words of wisdom today that'll help somebody's day. And if you're inspired by this, subscribe to it and also share it with somebody that you might think it would help. I would appreciate that. And that we'll just see everybody on the next podcast.
Also, if they want to connect just for 15 minutes, just to, probably what is this all about, or what is she talking about? Contact me at ruthkentllc.com, and you can have a 15-minute. And I'm not here to make you right or wrong. I'm here to lift you up because you're important.
We're just going to add that your information will be below. So they'll be able to get that. If you didn't have time to write that down or catch it, it'll be right here below the show notes, and you can grab it and do that, because I've worked.
Thank you. Thank you you may have lost your singing voice, but you've got a voice of love that is going out far more. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Bless you. And bless everybody else listening. We'll see you next time on the podcast. Bye for now.
Our biggest dream and desire is to bring lasting impact to the lives of the millions experiencing long COVID effects and symptoms all across the world. Please join us. You can reach out to us at adventurebucketwish.org.